Hey everyone, it's Kat. I've got a new video for you. We're going to be looking at Mercs, Mounts, and Familiars. So, what's new? What do you need to know about these guys for Chaos Descending? Okay, we're going to start off with Mercenaries. Now, if you've bought one of the more recent X packs, Chaos Descending, Planes of Prophecy, Kunark Ascending, then you have the Merc feature. Okay, it was included with those guys. But if you're leveling, or if you haven't bought that yet but you want Mercs now, you can buy it separately on the marketplace. So there are several different places you can get Mercs from once you have the feature. Now each major city has a hub where Mercs will gather that you can go for hire. I'm here in Freeport. This is the inn, the bar off the docks. This is where the Mercs tend to hang out here. But like I said, every city has this place. You can get Mercs that are just for hire here. You don't have to do anything special to get them. You can buy Mercs off the marketplace. You can get Mercs through achievements, through quest lines. There are Mercs that just wander around a couple of different zones that if you find them, you can hire them. My personal recommendation though for the very best Merc that you can get is Zergus. Okay, so he is really easy to get too, right? He is from an achievement quest. All you need to do is be a member to a very simple, very fast access quest to the Zek Scourge Waste. And what you'll see is this is under your achievements, under exploration, under Zek Scourge Waste. It's the solo. If you just go around and hit these different points on the map, it awards you the ability to go hire Zugs. And I think he's just at the bridge over in Zek. So he is a healer Merc, right? He's an Inquisitor, he's got heals, but he also does cures, which help out a ton in a lot of different fights, especially in the more recent content. But he also has Verdict. So, you know, you work really hard, you get through a fight, you manage to get him down to 10, 11%, you send in Zugs, and he takes all the glory and kills your need. But really, that's what we want, right? We want him to do a good amount of damage and to help us out. So he makes an excellent Merc. But what is new for Chaos Descending that we didn't have before? Well, let's look at Zergus. Okay, so we could train Mercs before, right? But we could only train them up to level 10. And you'll notice that he is training to level 12 currently. So they've increased the amount of levels we can train them to 20. So if you already had a Merc that was maxed out, that means you need to get them started training again. Now each time you train them a new level, it unlocks a slot here that you can put more gear on. So ultimately this will make them stronger, it will make them better. The best Merc gear is still the stuff that drops from the PQs. So the newest Chaos Descending PQs have a chance to drop this scintillating Merc gear, which is the best out there you can get for them. Okay, I still have some of the planner stuff on him from Planes of Prophecy, because those, aside from the resolve being on the low side, they're still really good. He can also wear your old gear, so any old gear that maybe was really good but you just got an upgrade for, Mercs can wear that. Doesn't matter what class you are, what class he is. And there's always the option to make player-made Merc gear too. So that's right, you can actually make armors, make the armor, jewelers make the accolades. But this might be, if this is an improvement over your old gear, then just like we did with our Mastercrafted, you can experiment on it, you can make it visionary, you can use refined, it's also infusible, they can wear adornments, so there's a lot you can do to boost up your Merc stats and make him stronger, make him tough, and make him last longer in both solo and in a pinch in a heroic zone too. So that is what's new with Mercs. So let's turn then and look at what's new with mounts. Okay, so we talked a little bit about mounts before, about how you want to pick the best one you can find, and the one with the best stats, and that once you get that mount, you want to start training them as well. And this is new for Chaos Descending, right? We couldn't train mounts before, but just like we do with Mercs, you train them, and every time you level them, or for mounts it's actually, I think it's every 2 levels, is you'll unlock one of these spots, and you can give them gear. Now, whereas with the Mercs, the gear that you gave them added to their personal stats, you actually share these stats with the mount. So all this benefits you. So see here, I've got a barding that gives me more health. I've got one that gives me more potency. They have saddles. This one does double cast, but there are ones that do fervor. And obviously you want to try to get the best possible gear you can for your mount, since this is all going to benefit you. The low level tier are the student ones. It goes up to archivist, and above that is the chroniclers, and the highest level is Elysian. So at this point, from doing trade skill, from doing solos, you probably have a ton of these patterns. These are crafting mats that you can use to make those pieces of gear. So far, the recipes have been frustratingly rare, especially the higher level ones, but hopefully in time they become more common and less expensive, so that you can eventually get these guys all geared up and trained. And what you'll notice here is a lot of these down here are locked. Rumor has it that these are going to be tied to achievements that you get, and so far they're saying, or some people have said, that it's tied to getting your ascensions to all the level 20, all 4 of them. So maybe that's true. Probably something's going to be tied to raid achievements too, would be my guess. But get as many of those slots open as you can to give yourself all the extra stats you can. Okay, so that is what is new with mounts this time. Alright, so lastly we want to talk about today is familiars. And we've talked a little bit about familiars before. They're these little pets that follow you around that give you this extra stat. And the really good ones, right, the best ones, the highest level you can get is an ethereal. They're not only going to have these stats on them, but they're going to also have procs. Okay, so, and I think we mentioned too that you can level them, and we had those leveling potions that you get from the panda, but another way to level them is to feed them other familiars. So I know you do have to feed your familiar daily, but if you talk to Stuart Kress, he hangs out in Freeport. He also has a version in Kinos, but he'll give you this daily familiars wild quest, and the wiki goes into detail about, you know, where to go for those guys, which ones to get. You don't actually kill them, you just get them in combat and cage them, and when you get 11 it'll give you a daily familiar cage. And I'm going to switch over to Kat, since she actually has the better familiars than this tune does. But you want to get the best familiar possible. Most of them are random. Okay, so even the stuff you buy off the marketplace, you'll get a crate, and you have the more expensive ones, you have a chance of getting a really good ethereal familiar. The less expensive ones probably will give you a common familiar. But the best one you can get, there actually is one that you can get an ethereal familiar, no RNG. You just have to work really, really hard for probably a long time to get it. It's through the Proving Grounds. So I'm here with Kat, and I'm going to show off here. Here's Kat with her familiar, the Battle Cat. Okay, so this is an ethereal familiar. So if you look at him, and you'll see he's got stats, he's also got a really awesome proc on him. Now, there are a few merchants here and there in different zones that will sell you a specific familiar, and usually with coins from doing that expansion. Like there's some in Obulus that sell different familiars. There are some merchants that you can go to with coins that will give you a random chance at a crate. There's one in Coliseum of Valor through the coins that you get from doing heroics, and there's also through the PGs. So Proving Grounds, like, I know most people don't do them anymore, but if you don't have a Battle Cat, they're actually worth doing. And if you talk to this guy here, and he gives you like the weekly quest, but this guy's the merchant, is that with 50 PG coins and a little bit of plat, you can get a familiar crate. Okay, so that's all random, and that's actually from an older season that are really hard to get anymore. So if there is an appearance when you really, really want, he might have it. But he also has the Proven Battle Cat. So you can get this ethereal familiar with just some hard work, okay? So it's a lot of coins, it's a lot of PGs, but you can do it. Okay, but in the meantime, since that is going to be a long-term goal, doing the Planes of Prophecy crafting line actually gets you a decent familiar in the meantime. And he has not only adventure stats on him, but he has crafting stats too. So he is not a bad one to hold you over until you actually get a good one. Okay, and I think he is what? He is fabled. So not quite as good as could be, but still pretty decent. Okay, so I hope that answers a lot of your questions about mercs, about mounts, and about familiars. Have fun doing Proving Grounds, guys. I'll see you next time.